So let's talk about PlayStation 4K, right? Because that's a conversation that's happening right now. So according to the rumors coming out for PlayStation 4K, it's going to be a better PlayStation with upgraded GPU, CPU, RAM, that kind of a thing. And it's supposed to make a difference in the graphical fidelity of things to come for PlayStation. So I guess let's just do a couple of stats. So it says from October, games released for the PlayStation 4 must ship with base mode and current model and a Neo mode for the upgraded model. So basically what that means is if you have a PlayStation 4 right now, you're gonna have a difference on the packaging. It's going to tell you, what that difference is for your package and also what that difference is for the upcoming PlayStation, which is a PlayStation 4 NEO, right? So that's pretty basic. Game released previous to October can opt to take advantage of the new hardware with a patch. Okay, so there's a lot of complaints about, well, why should, if I already got a PlayStation right now, why am I going to buy a brand new PlayStation 4 when I just got mine, or last December, or when I got mine when it first came out? So why am I going to spend that money again to buy it? Well, you're not losing out, right, per se, because you're still going to have the ability to have this patch so you can get the advantage of the graphical fidelity of the new system, for what they're preparing for that. So you're not necessarily losing out, but the conversation is, because I already bought it, why am I going to buy it again? Well, technically you do not have to buy it again. You have the option to buy it again. Now frankly, if you're into, the upgraded thing, right away, even with phone technologies, which is compared to, because we get phone technologies come out so quickly. So are we going to have the same thing as it comes to the consoles and the console life and things like that? Well, we'll have to see, because right now, as it stands, they're going to have two models, and they're trying to make sure that anything that is upcoming for PlayStation VR, they want to secure the graphical fidelity for that, because they do not want that to drop, because they even put that particular stipulation on the developers as far as what they're going to be making for the system. Okay, so that's what's going on there. Next thing is, so games running Neo mode, I guess I went a little bit ahead, which is fine. It's going to have a higher visual fidelity and more stable frame rate, which like I just mentioned, so I'm not going to reiterate that. So next thing is original PlayStation 4 CPU, 8 Jaguar cores at 1.6 gigs. The upcoming is going to be 8 at 2.1 gigs, so that's the difference there. Original PC4, I'll leave that in, I'm not going to edit that. Original PS4 GPU, that's going to be 18 CUs. I don't know what CU stands for, but you do, I'm sure. 800 megahertz. The Neo is going to have 36, so it doubled, right, at 911 megahertz. And as far as the other stats that they have for that, is the original PS4 memory is 8 gigs of RAM at 176 gigs per second, the technology there, and verbiage, if you will. And then the Neo memory is going to be 8 gigs at 218 gigabytes per second. So now the thing is, you're not really, there's a change there to make sure that the product launch coming out, specifically for PlayStation VR, is a sure thing that they're not going to have drop rates, fidelity issues. So it's more so for them to make sure that what they're giving you and me, is going to be, perfectly good. All right. So it says that Sony has no intentions of splitting its user base with the Neo. Both consoles will share the same store and interface, which is fine. So the packaging may not be that much different, but what you will see is maybe a Neo logo, if that's what they're going to be calling it. So there's going to be a difference in the packaging slightly, but not too much, that is going to separate the actual individuals, the consumers who are buying their product. So that's what's going on with that particular thing. Next thing it says is there will also be no Neo only games, nor will Neo users be offered any exclusive unlockables or gameplay options and things like that. So there's complaints. People are going to whine, people are going to complain. That's just the nature of having the ability to have an opinion to decide what we're going to buy and not buy. Now for me, specifically in terms of how it's going to affect 4K for me and things like that, I do not have a 4K TV right now. This TV behind me, it works great. The things that I see on it, it's great. But as far as Netflix and Hulu and things like that, as it relates to higher screen pixels on my screen, I know I want that. but it's not something that's going to affect me right away. In terms of the transition for the gaming, as far as Neo is concerned, and as far as the base mode for the PlayStation is concerned, I'm not going to be hurting if I do not get a PlayStation 4K, whatever they're going to call it, as it releases, whether, you know, October or announces probably E3. So they may announce it at E3. So I don't think that, you know, anyone here is losing. I don't think the PlayStation 4 base mode individuals are losing, and I don't think any individual who gets the new one is losing because they're getting the new package. But at least they're taking the time to actually put a patch, so you're not necessarily losing out on the graphical fidelity. And if you even look at Uncharted 4, which they recently showed the 16-minute video for that, I mean, that if they're pushing that out on the current base model, okay, for the PlayStation 4, I mean, are we really concerned that much as far as a difference is concerned for the next PlayStation 4 NEO, codenamed, right? So I don't think we're going to be losing out. Okay, so what else do we have here? It says Sony's new console will be announced before the planned October release of the PlayStation VR. Okay, so that's last but not least. So in essence, should you even get or be concerned about this PlayStation NEO right now? Okay, you could be concerned about it, you know, look at the stats on it and things like that. That's great, but you're not necessarily losing out with the base model that you have right now. So, you know, just don't worry about it right now. Should you get one? I would say if you can wait till, I guess, when they announce it, whether E3 announced and releases on October, you know, November timeframe, if you want to wait for that, I would wait for that. If you have a PlayStation not right now, I would not necessarily push for that right now. At least you're getting a patch. At least the packaging is not going to be different. At least you're not going to be suffering, you know, with the things that they're going to do with both the PlayStation base model and the current PlayStation or the upcoming PlayStation that's getting ready to show. So don't stress it. It's not that big of a deal. But if you do not have a PlayStation 4 right now, I would say definitely consider getting the next PlayStation and not, well, you can call it going backwards if you want to do the stats thing. If you want to do the stats and specs thing, then it would be going backwards, especially if you have the opportunity for waiting to get the new PlayStation 4 when it comes out. Now, if you don't care either way, then get the PlayStation right now. I mean, right now you're talking 36 million individuals, 36 plus or 35.9 if it wouldn't be exact, based on the last numbers that they announced, as far as it's doing well. So the PlayStation MVP program is no longer an establishment as they announced recently, because they're really making sure that everything that they're focusing on right now is not going to affect their momentum and things that they're doing. So should you get it? I say yes if you do not have a PlayStation 4 right now. If you can wait for it. In terms of pricing, I wouldn't be surprised if they released it at $399 and then dropped the PlayStation price to something like $300 or maybe less. I don't even know what it is right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if they announced the PlayStation, the new one, NEO, whatever they want to call it, at $399 for the price point. And so yeah. So that's the story as far as those things are concerned. Definitely leave me your thoughts and comments in the little sections below, depending on where you're looking at it from, you know, whether it's Facebook or YouTube and things like that. I really want to hear your thoughts on that. Should you, are you planning to get one? Do you care? Is PlayStation even a console that you are considering? You know, are you Xbox only, PlayStation only, whatever it is? Definitely want to hear your comments. And I really appreciate you taking the time to check out this video. And I will see you on the next video. Peace.